Welcome. It's so beautiful to come back together. I know the last few nights I haven't had satsang for a variety of reasons. But this time is very precious and very beautiful. So I'm very glad to be back together with you. And we'll start with a question that came in advance, that came on our social media, that says, why are drugs used to reach other dimensions or see the divine? Aren't you altered chemically, and so it's not the actual truth? So there are traditions, there are cultures, there are paths where they use drugs. Now, it's not a path that I personally recommend. It's not a path that the gurus and the leaders and the saints and the sages I follow recommend. But the reason isn't just that it's a chemical alteration. The issue is that you always come down. And so even if through that chemical you've had a beautiful experience of oneness or love or the universe, and there's certainly lots of people who have experiences like that. But the dilemma is that when you have an experience like that comes via the chemical, it isn't your truth usually. And so you may experience something that feels really beautiful. You may experience something that even seems really to be the truth. But if it were your truth, you would be able to hold on to it, even when the chemicals wear off. And the dilemma with all of these chemical assistants is that we always have to come down. And so when we come down, then we have two choices. Either we learn how to reach that state through meditation, through spiritual practice, or we take drugs again. And that, for me, is really the core of the dilemma, is a spiritual practice is about freedom. Spirituality, ultimately, is about freedom. It's about freeing yourself of all of that. It's about freeing yourself of all of that which we're attached to. Freeing yourself of all of that which you're hooked into. And if I need drugs to get there, then I'm not free. And so this becomes the core dilemma, is can I attain freedom? Through something I'm addicted to, or through something I require to have that state of freedom. It doesn't work or go together for me. Ultimate freedom is I have experienced, I know, I live in the truth of who I am. Not I live depressed and miserable and stuck and competitive and angry and greedy and lustful. But if you give me the right chemicals, I am love and joy and oneness and peace. That's not freedom. That's dependency. That's being stuck. So unless you are fully prepared to just take the drugs all the time, constantly, kind of for the rest of your life, at some point you're going to have to figure out how to get there without the drugs. And for me, the question about that then becomes, why not now? Very few people say, oh yeah, I'm prepared to just keep taking them. So if we're going to have to learn how to meditate, how to connect, how to pray, how to exhale into my truth, why not now? Because every time I take a shortcut, it actually makes it harder for me. It makes me less likely to go the hard way, because I know there's a shortcut. And I'm deepening a pattern of taking that shortcut. So my personal advice on this is not to use them. That being said, I also know people who do use them. I don't have any moral judgment against it or spiritual judgment against it. But for me, again, it's always a matter of what then? What then? Why create a situation on the quest for freedom where you're dependent upon that which is not self? A chemical. Something you drink or smoke or inhale or that dissolves on your tongue. Why depend on that to experience the truth of who you are? We've got thousands of years of mystical literature of all the world's religions, of great proof that it's possible, whatever your religion may be, to experience the highest ecstatic form of that without drugs. So why even get started in a situation that lays patterns for taking shortcuts that keep you stuck? That being said, if it's a choice you've made in the past, don't feel badly about it. If you've had beautiful experiences, wonderful. Now, as you meditate, see which meditative techniques help you get there quickest. See which meditation are you able to do to have that experience, and strengthen that. That becomes the freedom then. Whenever, wherever, however, all the time, that state is available to you. And that becomes the goal.
So, Vivek Sabharwal on Facebook has asked 2 questions that touch on the same kind of topic, so I'm going to read them both to you.
Okay.
The first one is, Sadhviji, when do we start experiencing out-of-body experiences, and do they really happen? And his second question, which he's commented today, is, Pranam Sadhviji, is astral travel possible? If yes, how can we do it?
Vivekji, why go anywhere? We're here in this exquisite, extraordinary existence. Why go anywhere? Why travel? When you haven't experienced the beauty of home. On a physical level, sometimes we have to travel. Travel for work, travel for various events or functions, or to see the family. But why, during your meditative experiences, why during your time of spiritual practice, why go anywhere? What do you want in the astral world that you don't have right here? What are you looking for? First travel to the inner world. First do all of the traveling inside. The truth, the glory of the self, the infinite expansiveness of the self. Go there. And then go to the places that keep you blocked from living there all the time. So then see, where's the shadow? What's pulling me back? Okay, I've now experienced, I've seen, I've touched that beautiful joy, that pure awareness, that expanded consciousness. How did I then just lose my temper at this guy? What happened? Where are those blocks? Travel there. Travel into the mind. Travel into the ego. Travel into the ignorance and see what's there, what's blocking your way. Remove those hurdles. Spiritual practice is not about an accumulation of information or even an accumulation of experiences. It's not a checklist. Astro travel, done. Left your body, done. Seen someone's aura, done. It's not a to-do list. There's no grading system. There's no 10 out of 10 or 100 out of 100 that someone's going to say, oh, great, Vivekji, you've done it. Forget it. Forget the lists. Forget what you've got to tick off. Experience the fullness of yourself. Right where you are, right here, right now. I only want to go somewhere else if I'm not satisfied with where I am. I remember when I first came to India, originally we were going to travel all over the country, and in those days I remember Jet Airways and Air India, which were the only airlines in the country at the time, I think. They both were offering this $500 See India pass, and for $500 over several weeks, you could basically travel wherever you wanted to go. Unlimited tickets. For many weeks, $500. And so we had planned, we'll get those. But as Rishikesh was the first stop, and after I had this incredible experience of awakening here on the banks of Ganga, I no longer wanted to go anywhere. I was so deeply, something is burning. Something is burning, I think. It smells like there's some wire or something. Check one of the wires. Might be somewhere else. Okay.
I think it's somewhere else.
Not here. But temporarily it smelled like one of the wires might be burning. So I was so full here that there was no interest, no longing to go anywhere else. Even when opportunities arose, I didn't want to go. Even today. If up to me, I would never leave the banks of Ganga. It's only when there's something that I have to go to, because what I have found here is so full and so extraordinary and so beautiful and so right. So ask yourself, as you're having these yearnings of, can I leave my body? Can I astro travel? Ask yourself, what exactly is the problem right here in my body, right here in my mind? And rather than trying to figure out where you can go, see whether you can remove whatever it is that's blocking the joy, the light, the peace, the oneness from you in this minute and this moment.
Zuriel Monsalvo on YouTube has asked, is Krishna dualistic?
Is Krishna dualistic? No, of course not. Krishna is divine. But I understand, I think, where the questioner is coming from. I don't think they're necessarily asking, is Krishna's viewpoint dualistic, so much as perhaps is worship of Krishna, love of Krishna, bhakti for Krishna. Is that dualistic? We'll take them both, though, just in case. So in terms of Krishna's viewpoint, if you read and study the Bhagavad Gita, what you'll realize is he gives the most universally applicable, concise but full teaching on God, on us, on the nature of the universe in 700 verses. And so, yes, there are verses about love me, surrender to me, have devotion to me, lots of them. And then there are verses emphasizing that there is nothing but God, that there is no distinction, that there is only one divinity, nothing but that one divinity. So his teaching is both and everything. And here's why. When we come to the aspect, though, of is worship of Krishna dualistic, it's the bhakti tradition, which, yes, is a tradition that says, I love God, meaning me over here am the lover, I'm the lover, God is the beloved, therefore there is a distinction. There is one who loves, and there is an object that is being loved. I'm doing the adoring, and God is the one whom I am adoring. But every really awake, really connected Bhakti yoga follower, every bhakt means every devotee, every lover of God, every worshiper of God who's really awake and who really understands on the deepest and highest level, we know we're one with God. We know there's no place I end and Krishna begins. And being in love is so beautiful. And so the bhakti tradition to me is, when I was in university, I took a class in fiction writing, and by no means am I suggesting that the scriptures are fiction writing, but bear with me for a moment. I took a course in fiction writing, and there was a term that we were taught called willing suspension of disbelief. What that means is that when you're writing something, you are asking the reader to willingly suspend their disbelief, to willingly just go with you for a moment. And for me, those of us who engage in bhakti, and I am certainly in that group, it is a willing suspension, not of disbelief. It's the opposite. It is a willing suspension of awareness that I am one with God. So we have the awareness that there is nothing but God, that there is no God and us, that it's all God. And willingly, consciously, we suspend that awareness so that we may experience being in love, so that we may experience loving God, because it is so beautiful. Because the swelling of the heart, the tears of love, the coming together of two into one, even if they've never been anything but one on the highest level, if for a moment I can experience myself as separate from God, then I can experience the ecstasy of the reunion, of the two becoming one. And so we willingly suspend our awareness that we are one with God for that ecstatic joy of reunion. So, worshiping Krishna, yeah, it's dualistic, sure, by choice. Because it's a lot easier to experience love, and I mean juicy bhakti, tears pouring down your eyes, you are melting into love. For something, someone that's not yourself. For most of us. And to turn in with the awareness that I am Krishna, or I am Brahmanaham Brahmasmi, is a very beautiful, very exalted spiritual state. And it's very different, though, than being in love. And they're both really beautiful. And I would never so much as even begin to suggest which is better. Which is why perhaps Lord Krishna gives us both. Worship me, chant my name, surrender unto me. And, by the way, there's no place you end and I begin. And it's not even like he does the teaching in a way like kindergarten through PhD of, okay, here's the kindergarten level and then I'm gonna. They weave together so beautifully throughout different verses, different chapters, that you realize he's offering us these options. The same way that he offers us the options of Jnana Yoga, which typically is that path of Advaita, the path of Vedanta, the path of wisdom that Aham Brahmasmi, there is nothing but God. And he offers us the path of Bhakti Yoga, loving God as the lover loves the beloved. And of course he offers us the beautiful path of Karma Yoga, which in many ways is a synthesis of the Jnana and the Bhakti. We love God so much, and we are so aware of God's presence in all that we serve. Every act we do becomes an act of love for God. So whatever works for you. And don't feel either like you have to choose one and stick with it. There are moments. There are moments where knowing and experiencing that you are God, that you are nothing but divine consciousness, is the highest and most exalted truth. And that state of never began, never ending samadhi and then there are moments where you're just ripe to be in love. Or where you need some juice in your life. where things feel dry, disconnected. And that practice of bhakti brings that juice, reconnects us, reunites us. Realize that they're both two different faces of the exact same reality.
Saviturva